Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Find that. Didn't I text you guys Stephen King article about upcoming? I didn't because I don't see the text. Adaptations, movie adaptations.
No, I thought you did, because remember I said I'd rather see. Oh no, that was the book. No, yeah, wait. No.
I was looking at it. Maybe I never sent it. I was looking at it yesterday.
I mean, like I always want to know what's happening, but like I feel like anything, you could, if something horror comes out, there's a 1 in 3 chance it's Stephen King related.
Well, on that note, one of the things coming out is Fairy Tale,
Mm.
which is not horror. Well, it's kind of horror. It's like goblins and gremlins
I
and
mean,
princesses.
that's fair. He's not. He himself would say he's not a horror author.
Yeah, it's a fine line. I don't know that I would say he's not, but I would say he's not only maybe so much more than that.
Yeah, I want to say things, but it's actually stuff I feel like I should say for the podcast.
Yeah. What do you think? You've not read this book, right?
No. Well, and so that's what. Well,
All right.
whatever. I'll just repeat it once you
No,
join.
just
But
wait. It's fine. Whatever. Are you coming this weekend?
what is today? Today is Monday. I still am not sure yet.
I wasn't sure where we left out.
Yeah.
Our shopper's got a lot of good stuff. Sorry.
All right.
Go ahead.
They always
I
do.
know. I'll have to not go. I didn't go there for like a month and I actually started running out of snacks. But damn. Then we went there twice this week, so that took care of that problem real quick.
It does help that it's like still. I mean, unless I go visit you, it's still an hour away from me. And the one, I mean, it could have just been an off day, but when we went, ours wasn't as good as the one near you.
I'll see. You just have to wait till you come here and stock up.
Did you watch that movie?
I watched half of it. I had a headache yesterday and I
Damn.
didn't like get to, so I'm gonna watch the rest after we're done. I was actually watching it with Michelle. The guy, it's one of those like, what's the guy's name? When we're the free best friends. It's like a Zach Galifianakis kind of weird, subtle humor almost. Like the shit he
Well, do
freaks
you
out about
mean
the
the?
stupidest shit. The
Well, have you made it to the part? Have you made it to where they blow up at each other yet?
No, they haven't done that yet. I'm waiting for
Okay.
it because good God, how could you not? Because they're
Well, that's
both
kind of
stupid in different ways.
well, right. I think that's why they just, it was written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. They just want to go to Globe. Kieran Culkin, one of the Culkins.
He's great. He plays that guy great.
Oh, he's so
Like how
good.
is he not
But
more famous?
they have a blow right. He's so good. They have a blow up later where basically he's just like he's so sensitive. Like he's so smart, but also so sensitive, and it's so annoying.
Yeah. Wait, so am I Jesse Eisenberg if Sean's
Yes,
damn.
but you're, but not. You know what I mean? You're definitely not high strung like he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very
I love it though. Again, there's a scene at the dinner table later on. Like, I love this scene so much where he's basically like, everyone else is like, well, he's clearly in pain. And Jesse Eisenberg is like, aren't we all in pain? Why is it my job to make it your burden? Like, shouldn't we all just deal with it? And he was like, well, you seem okay. And he's like, I'm not okay. I take pills for my OCD. I work out all the time. I focus on work and I ignore everything else, but I'm not okay. Like, it's just really, I feel like it's so relatable.
it is. Yeah. Well, I just changed my Xfinity password and guess who called me for the first time in a week?
I haven't signed an Xfinity in such a long time. I keep forgetting about that one.
It's getting annoying with that password and the two factor, so I just took them all off and changed the password, but I didn't tell him that. I told him, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you're not my child. Pay for your own fucking TV.
I was gonna say, we're not recording, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's not gonna go on the permanent record.
Okay. I was gonna say, well, I pay for Max, so it's only fair.
I know. And that's what I just said in the show. I'm like, I'll pay for my own Max for it if it comes to that. Please. I don't even watch it enough for that to matter.
I do because all the reality TV is on there.
Well, I'd pay for my own before. I mean, I got Hulu and Disney with no ads. Paramount with Showtime and no ads because it had something to do with Walmart Plus, so I got that somehow.
What do you watch on Paramount or Showtime?
I tried to watch Showtime, but nothing. Just
Yeah.
like there was one thing that was on there. I think the Asian girl from I think Meredith Grey, Grey's Anatomy, who's in the time travel movie, Sandra Oh, Everything Everywhere All at
Yes.
Once, that was on
Yes.
Showtime.
Did you watch it?
Fell asleep and never put it on again.
Man, you just don't like A24 the way that I do. It speaks to me, man.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying I never got back to it. It's more a fact that like once I get to like 9, 10 o'clock, man, I've been up since 5 in the morning and I'm trying to watch it and falling asleep no matter how good it is.
I mean, that's
And
fair.
then I
You do
forget.
have an early schedule. I'm just saying, I put that movie on the other morning because I passed out. I got drunk, passed out on the couch with my roommates. Woke up at 8:30 and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go upstairs and go back to sleep." But I put that movie on. It was so good, I couldn't fall asleep. I was like, "Oh my God."
Don't you hate when that happens? Start turning around to look at the TV because you're not facing it.
Yeah,
Because you just want the sound on, but you don't need to actually watch it. That's why I started
I
falling
event
asleep to documentaries because, hi, Ali.
exactly. Oh,
How
hello.
long you been there? But yeah, that's why I
We
started
could
falling asleep to
literally chat all day.
documentaries because I don't have to like, uh, pay attention or watch it. I can just listen to it.
Yeah, it really is that. And again, like I love just like people with really soothing voices reading me horror stories. I don't know why that lulls me to sleep.
Yes, but that's a problem because then I don't know what the hell happened. It used to happen to me with,
Well, yeah.
watching ID when I fell asleep because I never knew who did it. I knew the whole story up till about 10 minutes before the end. Like, fuck, who did it?
That's the nice part about being on YouTube is then I'll just go back and finish the video the next morning.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm waking up now.
I mean, I could do that if I really want. Hold on, I'm gonna send you the thing I thought I sent you guys that I didn't.
Also, I don't. You might want. Oh, you are recording already. You said right or
Yeah,
no?
I hit record as soon as like I fucking
Okay.
before you guys joined. I wasn't sure if I could do that, but it's recording. So we're I've been here for 9 minutes and 28 seconds, so we're recording.
Can't see the time, but yeah.
So I forget what was in here. There was some good shit in this 8 upcoming Stephen King movies.
I sorry. Go ahead. Well, I've read. I think I read more than I audiobooked, like by a long shot, by like 80 to 20%. But it was really cool to hear his voice for some of it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
not.
like he was.
God,
Well, two things real quick. One, it's cool to hear things the way that he imagined it. So it's like he'll do the voices, and I'm sure that's what he was picturing because he wrote it. And then two, it just feels like he's reading it to me, and I'm like, oh, this is so nice.
it does kind of right. Yeah, like the inflections and the way it was supposed to be. Like there's no guesswork there. It's like he's reading it, so he's reading it the way he wanted it.
Allie, did you listen to any of the audiobook at all? I only do if I can find it on that website that I love where it's free and I can put it up to two times speed because I can't do regular speed.
Somebody commented on our Buick 8 episode that fuck, this isn't the audiobook. Said nope, sure isn't. Sorry. I'm wondering if I should try that because I
Yeah,
get that a lot actually.
I mean, I think if we have time, probably. Is that copyright?
Somebody's out there doing it,
I
right?
mean,
Because people are looking for it.
well, no, the ones like I don't know if it's I don't know the legality of it, but like where I find it, it's the official audiobook. It's just been posted online for free by somebody who purchased it.
Somebody shared it. Wait, how do you do that with
Yeah.
Audible? Can you do that with Audible?
No, it's called Easy Audiobooks for Soul.
No, no. I mean, where are they getting the files from? The people that bought it to share it. Maybe Google,
Whatever the
maybe it's
official.
Google or Apple or something. I don't think you can do that with Audible. I've tried to just download it and have it outside Audible, and I haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe it's people who bought it through other versions then, or like I don't know, maybe there are people who had CDs. So
Anyway, so Amber, you have to come up here in February. You are coming up here in February. The Monkey
yeah,
comes out, I think, right around when you're coming up, actually. February something.
we'll have to talk about it. But aren't you guys going away that weekend?
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll work it out.
I guess yeah. Depending on when it comes out, it could come earlier or stay later.
She bought her Gilmore Girls jacket and hat, so she's ready.
Aw.
Okay, they're making a fairy tale movie. I told you that one, right? Welcome to Derry comes
Mhm.
out, I think, this year.
This conversation it started because he said that there's like a new Stephen King adaptation coming out. I'm like, well, there's usually like a 1 in 3 chance that that's gonna happen, like when something new in horror comes out.
I'm getting a lot of Dark Tower information too. I don't know how much, a lot of Mike Flanagan Dark Tower, like, but I think it's just Google, like, sends me everything that's ever published about it because I showed interest. Most of it's not
Well,
really news per se.
here's the thing. So don't forget. Well, I know you won't forget, but we've been interested in this for a long time. And I think about every 6 months, I Google Mike Flanagan Dark Tower series just to see what the updates are. And there was not as much news as before. Like it's definitely picking up steam lately.
Yes, before the news.
which makes me
Yeah,
excited.
like a year ago, if you Googled it, it would be like old articles from 2019 or something. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
got
Not,
updated information.
yeah, a lot too.
And my God, Allie, did you see that thing I sent? I did send that one, right? I mean, almost sounds to me like there's a new Dark Tower story coming. Don't know when. What did he say?
I
Something
mean,
about the clean sea and something. I forget. Can't wait to go
can you hear
back.
me? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought
What?
I disconnected.
Person on the podcast? Because I've never done that.
Wait, what did you
Actually, I
say?
person on the podcast.
No, I got a call and I thought it disconnected me.
No, no, you were saying crap. I was just teasing. Because
Oh,
I
I've
curse
definitely
all the
said
time.
worse than that. Yeah.
I have to put it on YouTube, not for kids, because of the way I talk. The Institute. I don't think you've read that one, right, Amber? Allie, I'm assuming you
Mm,
didn't, but well, they're making that one too.
no, I have it. I bought it.
It's dark. It's another one of those, like, the Institute is a place where they take kids with psychic powers and siphon out their powers and throw them out in the trash when they're done. So it's one of the, it's almost like the True Knot in, Doctor Sleep,
That is
except they're
intentional.
like, they have an institute instead of a roving band of psychic vampires.
Does it take place? Does the Institute take place in Derry?
No, I don't, well, I shouldn't say no. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Okay.
I think it, I don't think so. I think it's like just some random place in the middle of nowhere, but probably in Maine.
Yeah. I was gonna say it tracks if it's, kids getting hurt and nobody cares. That's
With,
Derry.
yeah, kids with psychic powers getting their shit taken from them seems to be a theme. You know, things repeat when you write 800 books. So,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he also got a little bit meta in the book that we're reading now
well,
by
that's a
saying
pretty
like
good
people,
segue, huh?
yeah, people love when you bring back characters that they know, and then we get to see like Ralph Roberts. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, page one, Joe Weiser. He used to be younger.
Right. Intersection of Witcham and Jackson.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's where she, okay. So I guess we're going.
Yeah, this is a nice little dairy treat from the beginning.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. And it was all like, oh, yeah.
I know I asked this. I asked this for every book. Do you even know what year this was published? You could just look, but hold
98.
on. Okay.
This is before Insomnia?
Hmm.
No, Insomnia was 94, right?
I need to get my
So this
list. I
is
have it
96.
chronological.
I have a page one.
I mean, it has to. Well, I, again, I have so many thoughts, but like, if this book is any indication of his inner thoughts, then maybe he was holding on to Insomniac for Oh my God, Insomnia, not Insomniac. That's a rape company. Sorry. Yeah, holding on to that book for a while anyway. That story.
They're also the people that make Spyro.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
Insomniac.
Insomniac Games.
Oh yeah, crap, I forgot about that.
Oh, I was right.
Okay.
And Insomnia was 96 for, remember? Anybody? I think it was, nah, who cares? It was written
Yeah, I
before
think it
this.
it was one of those two, but I know you're right about that.
Yeah. So yeah, page one, fucking Mr. Joe Weiser. That was unexpected. And yeah, I didn't realize this book started in Derry, so it was kind of like, is it bad that I feel nostalgic about Derry, where kids get
No.
murdered all the time? Parents are the worst.
Well, I mean, technically, think. Oh, well, no, wait. They went back a little bit in the Dark Tower, but chronologically, Derry is like not really even there anymore.
Well, it didn't like it get destroyed in the flood at the end of it
I mean, something has to be there because again, then they meet like a 17-year-old Richie and Bev.
in this one. No, in Insomniac.
No,
Oh, no,
that was in the Dark.
11/22/63, right?
Oh, you're right. Oh, so that is the last thing chronologically then, because that was like 2010 or something.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, that
and that
well,
wasn't
that
that. If
doesn't
they
make
were
sense.
teenagers, it was
Right,
like the
right, right.
90s. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, that's not what I meant.
yeah. Wait, is that the? I'm not sure what the last Derry check-in is because that would happen. Well, that would be after the flood, definitely. So the
Yeah,
town
because they
didn't
were
get.
they were like 17 or 18 or something.
What did he call him? Daddy-O? I kept calling him. What's his
Yeah,
face?
I
Some
can't remember.
Daddy-O.
They were like dancing. Oh yeah,
Another meta.
yeah,
Yeah, there's all kind of meta in here. I almost didn't want him to leave Derry. Like, come on, man, just stay there. Make it a Derry book. You could have done all
yeah.
this
But
at your
we're
Derry house.
I feel like we're very lucky as it is that everything exists within the same universe no matter what. So like we get a lot of Easter eggs all the time.
Yeah, plus there's so much material. There's plenty of Easter eggs to pick from. It's not like you see the same thing in every one. It can almost always be a different one, which makes it cool.
I am very curious. Again, so much of the, at least what we've read so far, felt like I was reading Stephen King's journal. Or I'm like,
Uh,
is this your experience? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, does that happen to him? Where, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. Probably, and probably not. I was going to say where he has to hold on to a novel, but he does talk about that, but he never talks about it like it's writer's block. I guess that's why I'm confused.
well, okay. Well, there's a lot to answer there. I don't think he's ever had writer's block in his life. He's gotten stuck at
Right.
plot points, but then he just walks down to the standpipe and, or not the standpipe. Yeah, the standpipe, right? What's the big
Hmm.
water tower thing? Is that the standpipe?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
standpipe,
he
yeah.
just walks down there and works his way through.
So then the business about like, it's not that I'm good at solving writer's block, it's that I've been holding on to this book for 11 years and you don't know that. You think that's true?
No. Yes, but
Okay.
not because of writer's
Boy.
block.
Well,
Because
just because he
he
had
writes
so
so
many.
much. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He says he has trunk novels. Pet Cemetery was a trunk novel.
Well,
They were like,
I
you owe us
know.
one more book. He
Trust
was
me.
like, fuck you, take this one. And he opened his trunk and he's like, that one. He's got like 10 of them in there. I don't know if he still does, but he did at one point.
Well, I guess that's what I'm curious about. Like, how much of it was him embellishing feelings he's had and how much of it was true. So you're probably right where it's not a problem he technically, or he really had, but he does hold on to novels until he wants to publish them. So yeah, I guess I agree.
Well, I think he has ones that he writes and maybe doesn't necessarily finish all the way or finishes and he's like, I don't know if I want to actually send this, like Carrie, famously threw it out because he didn't like it. And Tabby was like, wait, just hold on a second. So he has plenty that he wrote that did not get published. I'm not gonna say I know how many he had, if that's true at the moment, but it's not like he really slowed down writing. I mean, he's like a damn clock twice a year, May and September. You're going to have a book. I
Yeah,
already, I already pre-ordered the audiobook for May because I had a credit.
a lot of the publishing stuff I felt very real because that's like whether or not I don't know if he feels that much pressure, but that is his schedule. I mean, he's been doing two a year for like a long time.
Since I've been alive. Well, before that, well, not before that. I think up to this point, and it's going to take a turn, obviously, but this first part that we read is, uh, based on a true story, I would say. Well, I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
not 100% autobiographical, but a lot of it is, or
well. I mean,
comes from
obviously
his experiences.
Tabby's not dead, but when I was reading it, I felt like he was mourning Tabby. Like it was like him mourning, like not another character. It's just him.
Well, I didn't feel that, but it was very relatable. Whoever this character is, whoever's writing this character, if he hasn't dealt with the kind of pain he's describing, then he's just fucking amazing. Because you can feel the like loss through Noonan. Like I feel like even though like I don't have a wife that died, but I had a mom that died, and it's a lot of the same feelings, and I'm feeling he's so relatable all the time.
Hmm.
Like he deals with, I guess because it's horror, and that's the other conversation we were having, but like there's death a lot, and instead of just glossing over it, he deals with the I guess the aftermath and the pain of all the death. Not everyone, but a lot of his
Hmm.
books deal with death and loss, which is
Well, we've
kind of
always
how I
said
got into it.
it's not that it's like him writing about scary monsters happens to be a byproduct of the story he's telling. And a lot of real stories, like you're saying, deal with pain and loss. It's a part of life. And so I think, again, like you said, he just does it so well. And like every time, oh damn, I forgot his name. Every time our main character was breaking down, I started crying with him. Like I couldn't help it.
Noonan, Mike Noonan. I keep on calling him Danny Noonan because that's the guy from Caddyshack. Mike Noonan. Yeah. So again, it's so goddamn relatable. It's ridiculous. Maybe I can only guess he's writing about maybe his mom or something and just transferring it to his wife, the character's wife.
Yeah.
All these characters are nothing but a bag of bones. Well, he's also good
Ugh.
at that.
Yeah,
What does he say? Someone who, at some point, something about it's not a good thing for someone who has trained his imagination to look in the shadows or
yeah.
something like that.
No, I wrote that quote down too. I'm gonna put it. Oh, I don't know if this is the same one you're talking about, but it said, and belief counts for a lot, too much maybe, especially if you're imaginative. When an imaginative person gets into mental trouble, the line between seeming and being has a way of disappearing.
That's a good one, but yeah, that's a different one. He's talking about like monsters in the dark or something.
Mm.
I don't know. Hopefully I highlight it. So anyway, for some reason his wife dies while there's a car accident. Like that totally de- deflected. I was like, wait, did she get hit by a car? Cause he does his foreshadowing. So you know it's coming. She's about to
Hmm.
die. And then there's
I
like
just,
a car accident happening. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like I was waiting
I
for her to
think,
get run over.
I think he can't help himself because that was really not necessary.
Yeah. And we had, like, but again, you could picture, like, you could see him coming out of the pharmacy. You could see the old lady kind of confused going, what the hell?
Unless that did happen, like he saw someone like pass out from an aneurysm on the sidewalk once. Which I'm sorry, by the way, again, like I hate to keep bringing it up, but this is another secret brain aneurysm that happens in one of his stories. Like it's definitely a theme for him.
Who else did that happen to?
Okay, well, you're right. Never mind. I guess I misspoke. I just realized aneurysm and tumor is not the same, but still secret brain stuff that you can't prevent sometimes.
Yeah. Wait, who had a brain tumor? Carolyn.
Also, freaking Junior from Under the Dome.
And that's definitely not Derry. It's a mini Derry. I was
I
going to
don't
say,
remember
maybe
where
there's
that.
something in the air in Derry giving people tumors and aneurysms.
I wrote it. I've written it down before too. I feel like there's another one I can't remember
Another
because it's
kind
definitely
of brain thing.
like yeah, another time where it happened. I think it's just a fear of him for sure.
It's either that's all Joe Weiser is like, oh, it's awesome. Where do we leave him in Insomnia? I don't, does he have anything to do with the end? Oh, he takes Ralph to something. Bill McGovern?
Door.
Oh, short time business.
When
Yeah.
is
So
Ralph?
like,
So this
yeah,
is right before. This is six like whatever. I don't know the timeline, but this is like 6 months before that happened, right? Because he said he dies later that summer.
who dies later that summer? Ralph? I don't remember.
There's a quote where he's like, "I knew when I heard of him passing away later that summer that I had him to thank for giving me the idea of going to uh
Okay.
Sarah Laughs. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Which I always is a weird name to me for a place, for a
Well,
house. What
I'm
do I
having a
know?
real hard time not drawing parallels to our own lake
Oh
house.
my God. I've done it the whole time. There's no way you can't. That's what I think. Like this is like a carbon copy of his life at the time. He's got the money, he's got the, you know, publisher, and he's dealing with the fame, and he's got the vacation house now. So they go there to get away. This is almost an autobiography, at least the first part. It's not going to stay that way.
Yeah, no, I
The
mean,
build up is very autobiographical, it seems.
I guess I also didn't realize when staying at the house in Maine how much of the same experience Stephen King like has had. Or it's like, wow, I know exactly what he's talking about right now. Like I've had that feeling too.
Yeah. Loons on the lake. I think a loon cried in this one. I highlighted it. Like, oh,
Trying to find the piece of wood that has the non-address on it.
oh yeah. Stone Camp. Oops. Does
Mm-hmm.
that matter? I don't think that matters. Uh,
Nah, they can rent it out, can't they?
I believe, well, you might have to know somebody. I'm not sure,
Mm.
but it definitely gets rented out. I don't know how that process works because we don't do that. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely parallels.
Like when he kept talking about walking, sorry to cut you off, but when he kept talking about walking up to the driveway, I was picturing walking up to the main the house we've had been to.
When he was chasing the crying baby and there's no long hallways for it to hide down, I was picturing the,
Hmm.
like that walkway between the boathouse, main house. Anyway, we lost Alec a long time ago, so stop that.
Oh
Mm-hmm. It's kind of cool getting there at night too. It was very spooky when we did that. And there was big bugs on the door.
yeah, because of the bugs. No,
You
I
gotta go
started getting
outside at
more.
that.
Like we'd all be sitting out by the fire, and then one by one, everyone would go in, and then all of a sudden, I'd start getting creeped out because I'd hear like a loon and be like, "That's a loon, right?" And not like a wolf. Are there wolves here? There are, but like they wouldn't come here, right? Because of that fire. Maybe I should just move on the porch.
Let's go back in the house.
Yeah, that's actually what would happen.
So she, I guess, was pregnant when she dies, and he is reading way too much into that, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I don't like. She obviously wasn't even sure. That's why she was buying a test. So what's the big deal, my guy?
I mean, I guess some wives would say from the minute they suspected, and I guess some wouldn't till they were sure.
But like, what if you don't? I don't know. I'm not that person. I'm very avoidant, so I would not burden if I didn't have to, even if you know what I
You
mean.
would wait till you're like 6 months pregnant, and you were like, "Oh, guess what? I meant to tell you, but I forgot."
By the way,
Well, what are you doing next month? Yeah, I mean, I don't. He's acting like she's fucking cheating on him or something. I don't even know what his issue is, really. I don't see
like,
that as a big deal. And he's
and
talking
the
about
only
her
thing I
secret life. Sorry.
yes, you're right about that. I don't know. Maybe like again, I think he's reading way too much into that, but I also understand like grief can make you do weird things. So like it could be he's just spiraling because he doesn't know what to think right now. Or then, I guess it's
I
years
mean,
later now, but
that is one hell of a fucking punch in the face. Your wife died, and oh, by the way, would have had a kid if she didn't. Like, wow. It's a lot to take in. I can see why he's done nothing for 4 years.
very convenient that he has this nice writing career to fall back on.
You know, Stephen King has a lot of people who are writers, a lot of characters.
I'll
Write
make
what
a
you know, right?
list. I was gonna make a list one day and see who is not an author as a main character in his
It would
story.
probably be shorter.
Or English professor or both.
My brother was watching the new Salem's Lot, and he was like, "Oh my God, I saw the sign. I didn't know it was Jerusalem's Lot." I'm like, "Thank you. I didn't know that for like 20 years." Anyway, I yeah, it's a lot. I get maybe he's just it's it's like why it's relatable almost because you can feel his pain. Like he's just kind of all over the place. He
I
doesn't know
mean,
what to do with himself. I don't know why he's avoiding the house. I guess we're gonna find there's something more to that.
so that brings me to one of the points that I was gonna make before. I was like, I should wait until we actually start recording, which is that like this book feels very different than a lot of Stephen King books because it does feel like your classic horror story, like classic haunting, kind of like Haunting of Hill House, but maybe not that scary. And it just is unlike a lot of what Stephen King does. Like for all of his monsters, it's just not. I'm not used to him doing ghosts that much. I agree. I've been immersed, and like when he got scared from the fireworks, I was like, "What was that explosion?" I was like, "Oh right, it's the Fourth of July." Oh my god, I forgot.
When he goes to put her book back, and he's like, and Joe was laying there with cobwebs in her face. I'm like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Wait, do we know that that's what this is?
He hinted at something that typical Stephen King fashion. He just loves to give you little treats before he'll actually tell you.
Fucking
But
this.
basically, he said, like, at the time, I really didn't expect anyone to answer me, and I didn't get an answer. Like, something like, alluding to
Right.
he's gonna get an answer.
I mean, do we know it's a ghost story? I guess is what I meant.
That's what it feels like. Because it's I mean, this is like very typical horror story. You have a tragic event that happens right away, somebody's grieving, they're trying to process their trauma, their emotions, and
I think there's like 10 Hulu movies about that right now. They go to some house to try to rebuild and put their lives together, but the house is fucking haunted.
to be honest, I think like he's done a pretty good job of explaining like or psychoanalyzing himself in terms of like why he's so afraid of the house and like what he said about I'm afraid that if I go there then I will truly have to move on.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that's
just
fair.
this guy's going through a lot of pain, man. Like more than your
Now
average.
I will say I would not go there by myself and try to recreate some nightmare because I'm not insane. Like why doesn't he have Franco with him or something, or even have Joe, I don't know, or ask Ralph.
Yeah, to what end? Like, okay, so far everything from the nightmares happened, even if you had to dig through the trash to find it. Right. So what if
That's
you're
why
right? What do you win here?
That's what exactly. I would not be recreating it. I'd be like, I have protection, so this is not what happened in the dream.
Yeah, I don't.
I will say, I don't know if you guys remember a couple of months ago, like back when it was warm and sunny and amazing. I miss it, but not the point.
Did you get
When I
snow?
got, of course,
Well, I was,
Remember when I got stung by a bee and I had a dream I got stung by a bee like the night before?
uh-huh.
And I've never been stung by a bee in my life. I've never had a dream about it. So then when it happened, I was like, "What?" Like,
Mm.
so can relate to him a little bit in that sense. Where I'm like, "All right, weird. Is that just a coincidence?"
Oh, Abraham Lincoln dreamed about getting shot like the night before he got shot.
I think I don't know. I'm like the most skeptical, psychic, believing person there is, but there's probably something to it.
You know my answer. I want to believe, I just haven't been convinced yet. But it's really fun to pretend it's real in the meantime.
Again, the rational part of my brain is 90%, I can't even say that, convinced that it's a coincidence. But then 10% of me is like, am I psychic?
I mean, well, yeah, and then the other part goes, you could go Shakespeare, there are more things there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. So, I mean, on the other hand, what the fuck do I know? It could be that. I mean, we don't,
Well, that's just why
if we
I
think we
also said,
understand the forces of the universe, then we're out of our minds, I
yeah,
guess.
right. And then you've lost. But that's why I said I can definitely relate to him, where he's just like, I don't know why this is happening, but maybe it's just a coincidence.
Well, as he knows, there's no coincidences.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to not think that in real life too. He's conditioned me.
I'm very suspicious of any and all coincidences. Gotta say, it's not a coincidence. We just haven't figured it out yet.
Well, yeah, it's also like
Not
causation is
always.
not always correlation, but that doesn't mean that coincidence is. I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that. Never mind.
Coincidences do happen in theory.
Yeah, I think you could look at two things randomly and be like, wait, if this happened, how could that happen? And it's like that is a coincidence. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah. So she dies and so what is it? The ritual? He doesn't have the ritual anymore, which as simple as it was at the end of every book. So now he can't finish a book. He can't even get started to the point that like, he's like puking and cold sweating and getting dizzy and passing out and like,
Like
whoa,
full on panic attack.
from writing, from the thing he's loved to do his entire life. So
I
now
mean,
he can't do the one thing that he can escape with from all the pain that he's feeling.
right? He can't process the way he's not used to processing.
Yeah. You imagine how many books he could have wrote about that. I mean, yeah.
I
Can you
will say
imagine the author of this book, if something like that had happened to him, how many books we'd have?
I do kind of question, like, I mean, we're still pretty early into the book, but I was questioning a little bit, like, what is the storyline here? Because, like, I'm not really. Is she haunting him? Is she warning him of other ghosts? Like, I guess, again, we have to keep reading to find out, but it's just, he's being so vague so much at the beginning, and I'm like, I get it. What's going on?
Well, he's doing the creepy buildup. Yeah, sorry. That's what
Well,
Amber was saying. Them little fucking nuggets he puts in there. God damn it. They should have his picture next to foreshadow.
is this like a Lovely Bones situation where it's like, she's trying to help him figure something. Well, she died of an aneurysm, though. It's not like somebody killed her. I think maybe they did.
Well, how does that work? She died on the street in Derry. Can she go like to a different town and haunt a place? How do you
We
get
spend
there?
so much time trying to figure out different math and logic in these Stephen King universes, and it's
I
just
know.
exhausting sometimes.
What would he say? Never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, some of us can't help it.
Yeah, well, some of us have nothing better to do than analyze everything.
Well, that's the thing. If we're constantly analyzing everything he's writing, it's hard to be like, well, I guess we're actually pretty good at it now, but you have to train yourself to be like, that's actually useless. That's very important, but that doesn't matter. But this is very important, but not that important.
Right? We could write the Cliff Notes. It's funny. I think it's book rags. There's like summaries of every chapter and it's like 2 paragraphs and they crack me up sometimes. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're missing a lot there. I don't know if you could write a two
Well,
paragraph summary on some of these.
it's not like, I mean, I would love that class, but like the only reason I would ever read summaries is if it was a book I had to read for school and I didn't want to read it. Like, who is cheating reading Stephen King books?
It was for a class. There's Stephen King classes now. Yeah,
There are
for your
classes.
students. I was going to, at one point, and I hadn't decided, do a, PhD on either like parking lot party scenes, like the Dead and the raves that you go to and all that. or Stephen King's just influence on pop culture. And I don't know where I was going with that, but they have classes and the professor thought of the guy I was talking to, I forget who he was, but he thought it was an amazing idea. And we talked about,
I would
we ended up talking about Stephen King for like a half hour for my,
exactly. I wanted to
so
take
I
that
mean,
class for free.
almost, I know, right? I would, well,
I
I
mean,
wish,
for no credit is what I meant. No.
right? I wish I could take it for free. I probably would have. I got Penn State up the road. Yeah, but I'm not going to say many universities and colleges are offering at least an elective on just him because there's so much there.
I mean, there is, and I think that he is too humble to admit it, but he is like a literary genius of our lifetime for sure.
No, he's a lot it's hard to see yourself that way. Like he tells, Stu and Jamie, like, no one ever pay for a tour from me. It's like it's hard to understand your own impact, even, you know, when people tell you, it's still hard to see it sometimes. And I think that's what he is. And,
Well,
and
I
he's
don't.
so humble at the same time. He doesn't want to be like a famous asshole, so he always tries to downplay his impact.
I mean, it could be because he's an author and not like an actor or a musician. But a lot of people when they get famous, they don't have a hard time seeing their worth, if that makes sense. Like, no shade to anybody, but usually your ego goes up, especially when you start making more money. And for him, it's always been like, no, 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 I'm just a man. I don't even know where I get these ideas from. It's not like, don't blame me. Don't praise me, I guess.
From the, what does he say? From the idea store? I can't remember. Where do you get your ideas? He's funny. He hates that question. He's like, oh, I have a well that I get them from. And then they look at him all confused. They're like, well, what do you want me to say?
I mean, he's only done it a handful of times, but I've watched every video that like of on YouTube of him attending like a conference or a high school graduation speech or whatever, and he repeats himself a lot. So it's like it doesn't take very long to understand him. He says
Yeah.
that all the time.
Well, that's what he says. Like this, and I think that's like to your point, because he's an author, it's a different kind of fame because you don't perform in front of anybody. You're by
Yeah.
yourself, 8 hours a day locked in a room, maybe with a good soundtrack.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he was a classic rock guy. In fact, I know he was. I
Yeah,
don't know
I'm
what he
wrong.
is now. Uh, so it's a solitary experience. And I've seen things where he talks about that. He goes up on stage, he goes, this is weird, man, because, I just spent the last 6 months in a room talking to nobody, and now I got to get in front of 8,000 people and talk about it. Like it's
And
a complete
especially
opposite experience of what I just did.
and like he talks about hearing voices in his head like for the stories that he writes. So it's like it would be so I don't know, it would make me even more paranoid if it's like I am now have 8,000 eyes on me and I'm like, all right, just be normal.
Right? Get through this. Everybody in my head, shut up. I don't know if I have voices, but I guess I would say I have conversations, and I think it's the same. I don't, maybe his conversations all have different voices, and his mine mostly use my voice. I think I don't like, all his characters talk to mostly dead relatives. Uh, they don't actually do that, but there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
But I was, again, that's when I was a kid. That's why I was relatable because anyone, any char how do you say, it? You knew the character was worth like getting invested in if they were talking to like a dead relative in their head because that meant they were going to be around for a while or they're going
I
to be
never
some kind of main character. So, you know,
thought about
all they
that.
needed was a parka and a blue chambray work shirt. I wonder if they have other.
It could be gunslinger-esque.
The Gunslinger, did you guys know is modeled after Stephen King? He's supposed to look like him
What do you mean the gunslinger from like what?
from like the cover of the book.
The first one?
Sure. I'm picturing graphic novels at the moment, but that's why Eddie calls him long, tall, and ugly because he's like 6'4" and thin, and he's got
Oh wait, well,
maybe not the face, but what did they say? He's got like the same
my first
shape,
book doesn't
face,
have a
but not.
picture on it.
Go get one of the
Sorry.
graphic novels. I think isn't the Gunslinger the one where he's got like Zoltan on his shoulder and he's looking off to the side?
The
I wish
graphic.
Zoltan was still around. I love that bird.
Well, I mean, if he was still alive, well, I don't know. Could Roland have won without the ultimate sacrifice? Probably, but everyone around Roland dies.
Zoltan was the Bird. Wait, did the old man die?
I'm thinking David. I'm sorry. Not, yeah, right. My
Yeah,
bad. Wrong
David
bird.
Quick.
Hmm.
We're getting all Dark Tower distracted because we heard rumors about a story.
I'm looking at the Dark Tower Gunslinger graphic novel, The Journey Begins. Is that the one you're talking about?
I'm not sure, but that's yes. Is there a picture of him on the front?
Yeah, but it doesn't look anything like Stephen King. He looks like
Well, it
Clint
doesn't.
Eastwood.
It doesn't look like him, but it's got the same frame,
The
same
same.
shaped face, the same body type. Long and lean.
Okay.
The guy, I forget what's his name that draws all the Stephen King stuff. That said he modeled
Yeah.
him after Stephen
No,
King.
I believe you, but I need you to show me when we're together so I know we're talking about the same picture.
Okay. Anyway, back to bags of bones. What is it? Any character in any story is nothing but a bag of bones. Like, I don't even really know what that means.
I was just about to say, I don't really know if I understand that.
Yeah, am I
Like, I
supposed
know
to
the,
be upset about?
like, well, it's not even, like, I don't know what the metaphor is. Or maybe not even a metaphor. I don't
Yeah, yeah,
know.
that's what I mean. I don't know what he's saying. What does that mean? It's nothing but a bag of bones.
What was the,
Like it's not real is the way I was taking it. No matter what you do, he's only a character in a story.
yeah, well,
But
yeah,
I don't
things
know
are
what that
going
means.
19.
See, we saw something the other day. 19. He's right. That shit is everywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that, that is everywhere with him for sure. Is that a coincidence?
he said he put it in there because he was seeing it everywhere. That's how he didn't make it up out of the blue. Like it was something that was happening. Like that kind of meta shit I love. Uh, I had a dream that I was with Eddie and Roland on the side of the road rescuing him one time when I was like taking charge and like telling the gunslinger what to do. It was weird. Yeah, I have no idea what that meant other than I was reading a lot of Stephen King. So then we go through the whole publishing thing, I guess. So like this is all autobiographical, just by the ask me. And I
Hmm.
thought it was funny where he was like, oh, if you look at the top 10, not the first three, but from more around the 6 to 9 area, that's where you're going to see me. I'm like, yeah, like you ever knew what that was like.
I
He talks about himself. Did you see the video that I sent you guys, I think yesterday?
don't know. I haven't.
You have to watch it. But he talks about, he's like, he feels like an industry. And this is in probably the 80s. He's talking in the interview. He's got black hair and all that stuff. But he's like, it's like Stephen King, 40 million sold. And he's like, man, it makes me feel like I'm just cranking them out for the machine or something. It's a really cool interview. It tells you a lot about how he feels about, like he had been famous, but not long enough, I guess, to be used to it. So he was talking a lot about how he felt about it. Um, so you have to watch it. But he talks about it. All right. End of the podcast. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.